Something that's really common for grieving people is they'll be at the memorial or the funeral service, or you'll run into somebody at the grocery store and they ask you how you're doing. And you say, not that great. This is a really rough day. And the person will jump in with their own story of grief. So we call that grief hijacking, right? You're trying to say something that's happening for you, and somebody comes in with, I know exactly how you feel. My sister died 15 years ago, and when that happened, and then they take the conversation completely into their own experience. Now, what we think we're doing as supportive people is we're empathizing. We're showing that we understand the territory. We're showing that we get you. Unfortunately, that's not how that feels to a grieving person. To a grieving person, that feels like, now we're talking about you instead of talking about me. So my theory as to why we so often meet somebody else's grief with a grief story of our own is because we never give grief any airtime in this culture. Everyone is carrying some kind of loss. So it's like we carry these grief stories around and they're sort of looking for an entry point. Any safe harbor, I'm going there. Your sister died? Oh my God, my sister died when I was a kid. Let me tell you all about it. So we have this right story, wrong time. If somebody needs to tell the story of their loss at any given opportunity, what that tells me is they haven't yet been heard. We're all carrying losses that haven't had a chance to be heard. That doesn't mean that every time is the right time to tell your story. Let your grieving person have the stage at that time. You can also say, I've had some experience with loss as well, and I would love to talk with you about it if it feels like that would be helpful. Again, we always want to ask for permission before we jump in with our own story. It's not that your own story is bad or wrong. It's just whether this is the time and place for it or not.